All right, let's dive in. Today, we're exploring what you could call a philosophical battle for the very future of the human spirit. It's really about a choice, isn't it? A choice between two completely different destinies, one of which leads to what the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche called the Übermensch, or overman, a state of ultimate human potential. So, what does that choice actually look like?
This quote is everything. It's the central metaphor for our entire discussion. Just picture it. Humanity isn't some safe, solid ground we stand on. Nope. We're on a tightrope, a perilous bridge, stretched over this massive, terrifying abyss. We are all on this rope. So the real question isn't if we should cross, because we're already on it. The question is how.
And that crossing, that journey, it starts right here at a desolate crossroads. This is where two paths and two very different figures representing those paths meet.
So, meet our two characters. On the one hand, we have the Ascendant. His eyes, they say, burn with the fierce light of a forge. You could just feel the intensity, right? That look of struggle, of creation. And on the other hand, we have the Last Man. He just seems so serene, so peacefully content. The contrast is just, wow, it couldn't be more stark.
And you know, it's the last man who speaks first. He gestures toward his city, this place that's just humming with security, and he makes an offer. He asks, why choose the stone and the suffering when peace is so easy to find? He's selling the ultimate practical solution, a life without big passions, without big risks, and without any deep suffering.
So what exactly is this philosophy of comfort that he's pushing? Let's take a closer look and really break down this so-called gospel of the last man. His belief system really comes down to these three pillars. First, security is number one. You avoid passion, you avoid risk, you avoid anything that could possibly hurt you. Second, being content is the highest virtue. The easy life isn't just easy, it's wise. And third, a total rejection of striving. All those grand ambitions and big dreams, they're just foolish burdens. So really, the last man is the embodiment of stagnation. He represents a future where humanity has just stopped reaching, stopped trying. He's made the earth small because he doesn't want anything that requires a real struggle. And in doing that, he basically ends the entire human project of becoming something more. And this is the Ascendant's incredible response. He looks at this offer of peace and he doesn't see life. He sees a kind of spiritual death. He completely flips the script. That safe haven the last man is offering, that's not safety, that's surrender. It's a comfortable grave at the bottom of the very abyss we're supposed to be crossing. But the last man, he's got a defense. He argues his people aren't stagnant at all. In fact, he says they're working harder than they ever have before. And this introduces a really fascinating idea, a paradox even. Which brings us to this absolutely critical question. The citizens of that city are busy, no doubt about it. They're probably exhausted from their constant work. But is all effort the same as progress? Is all that busyness actually moving them forward? Or is it something else entirely?
This comparison just nails the difference perfectly. The last man's effort is like a spinning top. I mean, yeah, there's a whirlwind of energy there, but it's totally fixed to one spot. It's going nowhere. The Ascendant's striving, though, that's like an arrow in flight. All that energy is focused, it's purposeful, and it's moving toward a distant horizon.
And this state is what's called the corrupted frenzy. It's what happens when our natural human drive to achieve something gets hijacked and rerouted into a meaningless hamster wheel of just getting more stuff and feeling more secure. It creates this false momentum that tricks you into thinking your busyness is a virtue, when really, all your energy is just being aimed downward, toward the dirt of immediate gain.
So, let's get back to the Ascendant's worldview. He rejects that spinning top and instead fully embraces this idea of humanity as a perilous bridge. From his perspective, this is the single most important thing to realize. When you're on a tightrope stretched over an abyss, standing still is the most dangerous thing you can do. Trying to find a comfortable spot to rest isn't safety, it's surrender. It's how you let go and fall. The only way to survive is to keep moving forward.
Okay, so if safety is just an illusion and standing still means you're going to fall, how in the world do you actually cross the abyss? Well, the answer is in transforming yourself and becoming that arrow of longing.
The whole journey starts with what's called the hour of longing. You know that feeling, right? That deep, nagging dissatisfaction, that ache that tells you there has to be more to life than just comfort. Well, instead of trying to silence that feeling, the Ascendant uses it. He sees it as a source of incredible power, a creative storm just waiting to be unleashed.
And that feeling, that longing. It leads to this powerful realization. In a world where there's no pre-written purpose for us in the stars, we have this terrifying but also glorious duty. We have to create the meaning ourselves. We have to become the meaning of the earth.
But this transformation, it's an internal battle. As you can see here, it starts by confronting your shadow self. That's that inner voice, the internal merchant, who's always pleading for safety over greatness. You don't destroy that part of you. Instead, you affirm the necessity of suffering. You forge your will, and you use all of it to transform yourself from that spinning top into a purposeful era.
And this right here is the final realization. For the Ascendant, meaning isn't some destination you arrive at, some safe harbor. The entire purpose of life, the meaning itself, is found in the courageous, perilous, beautiful flight across the abyss.
And so, in the end, the two figures make their choices. The last man just shakes his head, calls the Ascendant's path a recipe for pain, and he chooses peace. He walks calmly toward the warm, welcoming lights of his city. The Ascendant watches him go, and then turns right back to the forbidding mountain and continues his climb, straight into the heart of the storm.
Two paths, two possible futures. One of contented peace, the other of perilous creation. The wager for the soul of humanity is on the table, and that crossroads, it's waiting for all of us. The only question is, which way do we go?